Hello, guys. Again, this is Chef John from Grab and Go and Grab and Go Concessions. Um, if you guys did subscribe to the channel, you probably saw the first when I started making this machine, and this video actually depicts the second, I would say 2.0. I'm not saying I perfected the project, but I think I'm ready to use the machine. Um, in the restaurant, just take a look of how fast the sugarcane goes through there. Again, I'm using a manual, I believe, made in Malaysia cane machine. Which has three rollers, sort of like two rollers, one on top of the other, and another roller in the back. Now, if you look at the top where the knob is, those two knobs are to adjust the cane. If you got big cane, you can actually unscrew the knobs, which the rollers are spring loaded, and once you unscrew the knobs, actually the rollers would spread apart and make it easier to fit a bigger a stick of sugar cane. Now, looking at it again, you notice I got the motor. The motor is 110 volts. I have that motor on a foot switch. Bought the foot switch from Amazon, which I think the foot switch itself is more like it activates the machine, but it's also an emergency sort of. If anything happens, you just you just get your foot off the switch quick enough to avoid any accidents. Now, looking at the pulleys, the big pulley, the small pulley, right? Belt, V belt. I measured the V belt. I got the V belt from a local auto parts store. I just took a string and then put it around two pulleys and everything, and I got the measurement. Now, where the motor sits, there is a slot that I made to adjust the belt, just in case I needed to replace the belt. But that belt itself has about, say, a good 1 inch of slack. Okay, so there it is, folks. The motor's 110 volts, 120 VAC, your 60 hertz, and it is a 1.5 horse. Of course, when you look at the wiring, it's going to get confusing because you have what's called counterclockwise. You're going to see a CCW and a CW. You'll have it'll come with instructions. If you want the motor to turn this way, you turn this wire that way. You want the motor to turn that way, you turn that wire this way. So therefore, when you do buy the motor, if you decide to make one of these things, you'll have the instructions. I don't suggest anybody who has no electrical experience or mechanical experience to get into this thing. It can be dangerous if you don't understand how electricity work and mechanically understand ratio between pulleys and stuff like that. But however, if it's something you want to challenge, hey, leave me a comment, man. If I can help, I'll help you out. Now, this thing is ready to go. You see how fast the baguette goes through there? Look at that. Ready? You see that? Now, if you imagine, I'm not making cane juice actually well, that one there has got, that one, it was a hard one. I had that cane in the sun for like a couple of days. I'm not making cane juice actually for consumption. Actually, what I'm going to do with this thing, I think I'm just going to make syrup with it. But I just wanted to demonstrate how fast you can make a machine like the ones that you can get from I think I don't think Amazon sells a good sugarcane machine. They sell the manual ones. I've never seen an electrical one, or an electric one rather. But if you decide to make one of these, it's really fast, and then you can make a lot of money with this. What can go wrong with this thing? Nothing. I mean, the machine itself is mechanical. The motor itself is electrical. The motor has a fan in the back. If you're using it for a long period of time, it cools itself. It's pretty much air cooled. Easy go. Okay, now what else can tell you guys? I got it sitting on a old craftsman table, which is a saw, a an old table saw. And then after that, it's just bolted. I'm using bolts. I'm using 9/16 hex, and with washers, of course. And that's about it. And when you use the machine, just make sure you clean it and get the sugar and everything. Because if you don't have it in the right place, animals will crawl in there just because of the sugar itself. Anyway, after that, I don't know, guys. If you have any comments, I mean, just subscribe to the channel and then take it from there. And then if anything, if you want to make one of these, I can guide you through it. And that's not a problem. Just leave a comment, and we'll go from there. Now, however, I've seen guys that they make these machines and everything, and then they have the motor on the bottom with a long belt. A long belt just causes delay and more room for danger. Now, however, I'm gonna make a cage between the right where the two pulleys and the belt is. I'm gonna make a cage, and if someone else, if I'm not around, someone else uses the machine to keep people from getting their hands caught in that space between the two pulleys, the motor and the cane roller itself, machine itself. But as far as where I'm sticking my hand, you can't hurt yourself there. You can't have your finger caught in anything because there's a sleeve, more like a large thimble, that separates the machine, sort of spaces the machine from your hand. It's about, I think, it's about 5 inches as far as tall coming out. So you can't hurt yourself doing this. Okay, at the bottom where the cane gets squeezed, you can there is a strainer in that tray. It ain't the best. I mean, some of it I had to file down, and sharp edges and stuff that can cut you, but you know what, it's good for the price. And it's just a great invention, man. I mean, I didn't invent the machines, but I sort of invented the idea from watching other sugarcane machines that are very slow, by the way, and takes time. I've seen at a local flea market, a guy has one. I think he said he ordered it from Malaysia, and the problem he had with it, something went wrong where he couldn't understand why. He kept having to replace it because some electrical issue. But when I took a look at it, it was 50 hertz, I believe. So you got to make sure if you buy one of these machines overseas, you got to watch the hertz, because 50 hertz won't work in America. Not for long, it won't. We do 60 hertz per cycle. So that stuff you have to know. One of the reasons why I decided to use the manual one and attach the electrical gadgets to it and everything, because I've looked around. I can't find anywhere in America that sells a sugarcane machine. I've looked on the internet, I've looked on YouTube, I've looked on Amazon and Webstaurant and everything else. I can't find one, so I decided to make one. The next thing I'm working on is a machine to squeeze lime. You can't find anything that can squeeze lime. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I have the machine. Well, I'm talking about squeezing a box of lime, maybe 100 lime to 200 lime, to make real natural lime juice. That's what I like to make, guys. I love to make natural juices. So therefore, I'm working on making a lime squeezer. Now remember this. Lime and orange are two different animals when it comes to making juice. Why? You can take an orange and put it on your dome juicer thing. It could spin it. It'll spin the zest and everything and get the juice and extract the juice out of it. I've seen ones that would spin. I've seen the ones that with the sharp edge where you squeeze down and everything. that uh, that would extract the juice out of the orange. But lime is different. Lime has to be squeezed. Let me tell you why. When I say squeezed, lime has to be, in other words, cut in half, and you have to squeeze it clean, okay? If you take lime and you say, well, I got to press, I'm going to press lime, what's going to happen is the bitter part, which is on the skin, that part's going to mix with the juice. Now, if you look at lime, just say green lime itself, you look at the outer part where the zest is, right behind that, there is a sort of like another membrane, some sort of skin that tastes very bitter. So if you can't squeeze the lime without having that specific membrane mixed in there, you're fine. But if it's mixed in there, it's gonna make the lime juice bitter. So I've seen machines that actually would rotate and that cut the orange and squeeze it, cut it and squeeze it. But I've tried squeezing the lime using that machine. What happens is most lime are too small for that machine. If someone said, well, you know what, I'm going to reduce the cup sizes in that machine to squeeze lime, I think it would work. Well, the second problem is lime is much harder, much tougher than oranges. So that's something I'm working on, maybe some sort of hydraulic press, and so forth. So I hope, for you technicians out there, that you guys with the passion for fruit juice, this machine can help. Do I have any intention to mass produce this thing? I don't have any intention. I mean, unless I had some high demand that would, finance the situation. I'm not going to put money into this because I don't believe that there would be enough demand. Maybe overseas, I don't know. But I don't know. Your comments, actually, at this point, your comments is probably what I'm going to rely on and see what the outcome of this would be. But guys, at this point, I started, when you saw the first few videos I put on there, I started, and I actually right now I think I perfected this machine. It's ready to make money, put it that way. Now, how do I like to make my cane juice? That type of cane I don't use to make juice. I love black sugar cane, the dark one. What happens is I peel it, okay, completely clean it. When a customer walks up to you and says, oh, that kind of cane is dirty, you're using the cane with skin, you're using the cane, it's not clean. It is not clean. Why is it not clean? Because you can't clean it enough. Unless you take your time to take the skin off, to peel it. But that type of cane is too skinny. That stuff is just made to make alcohol and sugar and stuff like that. Now, if you really want to be successful at making cane juice, you got to have the black cane. It's bigger, it's softer. Matter of fact, if you put it through the machine, it'll go through just like butter. Okay? So I as soon as I get some black sugar cane, I am going to show you the difference between the two, okay? Between this type of cane, which is the green cane, grown in Central Florida, throughout the Caribbean. No, not in Central Florida mainly. It's grown mainly in South Florida, Palm Beach County, Immokalee, Belgrade, and everything, Homestead and everything else. Dominican Republic, of course, India, but I'm in Florida, so I'm just speaking for Florida, where you can get it. You can get this cane down south, and do what you do with it. But me personally, if a customer watches you, you clean some black cane and it's nice and yellow looking, nice and white and everything, you stick it through that machine, it'll go through just like butter, and your customers would appreciate some cane juice, guys. You know how many vitamins and minerals that cane juice has that can benefit the body? I can't even get into it. But cane juice, you add ginger, you add a little lime to it, my friend, let me tell you something, with some crushed ice is a taste of heaven. So guys, get into juicing, man. Get into natural juices. Now, remember, sometimes if you make natural juice, you may have to pasteurize them. Like carrots, for instance. If you make carrot juice, you got to pasteurize carrot juice. Some fruits, some vegetables carry more bacteria than others, and allergens, and some people are allergic to certain things. But if you can pasteurize your juice before you sell it to the customer, you can get rid of a lot of problems. I mean, I personally had someone that had carrot juice and got paralyzed from some sort of parasite. So that's just another story. But to let you know, pasteurizing your juice is nothing but trying to bring it to, like, say, not to a full boil, but you can bring it to about 140, 150 degrees. And that way you're sure that you're feeding someone something that is clean, bacteria free. Okay, guys, this is again John from Grab and Go Concessions, guys. I hope this works for you, and get out there and make some money.